Hola a todos y bienvenido to another exciting session of Circulo Castellano. You are tuning in to Voces and Vivo episode 7, and I am your host Akriti. Today, our theme is Beyond the Textbook, Fostering Cultural Exchange and Language Communities. We have a truly phenomenal guest with us today, Miss Leticia. She is a linguistic powerhouse. She is a Spanish teacher and an accredited DELE examiner and is currently a visiting lecturer of Spanish right here at Jamia Millia Islamia. Her incredible career spans across Spain, France, Ireland, Belgium, Brazil, and India. Leticia, muchas gracias for joining us today. We are very thrilled to have you here.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you to both of you. And also congratulations for this initiative. I think it's very nice.
Thank you so much. It's all sort of here, so I am just like, I chime in whenever I can. But yeah, thank you so much for this motivation. And yeah, let's dive right into the questions. And we are very excited to talk to you and know your view as a professor, as a student, and as a foreigner here in India, and how it has been for you here. And yeah, what are the things that you can tell us about the Hispanic culture and Spanish language? So let's dive right into it. Kicking things off with your incredible international journey, you have mentored students in Europe, taught at the Federal University of Para in Brazil, and are now a visiting lecturer here at Jamia Millia Islamia. So, how does the cultural context of a country fundamentally alter the way your students connect with Hispanic culture?
Well, I think the cultural context makes a huge difference in the way the students approach the language and its culture. For example, because the motivation to learn the language is different, the level of exposure to the country or countries is going to be different. And also, I'd say the contact with native speakers is going to be different. So, for example, I'd say in Belgium, most of my students were retired people or about retired. So they thought of Spain as a place to, as a holiday place where spend their, oh, spend some time. And they were more focused on Spain itself.
Yeah.
Then in Brazil, I'd say they were more young adults and they were more interested in Latin American countries because they were their neighbors, right? And they were interested in tourism, but also in working in those countries. And for example, I remember when I got there, to Brazil, most of my students didn't know how to conjugate vosotros because they were not interested in Spain. So didn't know how to conjugate vosotros. And then here in India, we are farther from the places where Spanish is spoken. So it's a little bit different, but and also the motivation is different because they want to basically work in Spain, most of them. So here they're more interested in Spain than in Latin America, I'd say. So it changes a lot because the motivation is different. What kind of Spanish, what kind of culture, what segment of the culture they're interested is different, right? Yeah.
Yeah, true. That is actually very fascinating to know that. I mean, yeah, honestly, I think that another factor also can be that age difference, and maybe because here in India, we are very much focused on academics rather than, just like moving
Leisure.
to a country, yeah, and like learning the language for it. So yeah, that is very fascinating to know. And now, speaking of navigating different cultures, you are a linguistic powerhouse. You know so many languages and have like learned so many languages from Portuguese to Mandarin to Slovenian. So how does your brain work with all that? Like, does having your brain wired for so many diverse languages change the way you approach teaching your own mother tongue in some way?
Yeah, I think I have always had a very analytical approach to languages. I analyze a lot. I overanalyze sometimes. I compare those languages I'm learning to Spanish and among themselves. So the good thing is like in most of the countries I've taught Spanish, I knew the language of the speakers, right, of the native speakers. So I could understand in advance, I could expect in advance what were going to be the difficulties and everything of the students. For example, in France, I spoke French. I mean, in Belgium, I spoke French. So I knew the similarities and differences between French and Spanish. And it helped the students, I think, sometimes because, for example, explaining the present tense, el presente indicativo, many people said, "Oh, it's very difficult. There are a lot of irregular verbs," and it's true. But in French, it's quite similar. So I said, "Yeah, in French, you also have like the three first people are irregular. Then nosotros and vosotros are regular, and then the last one is irregular. It's same as in Spanish." And that day, I remember they were like, "Oh yeah, it's true." It made like a click. So I think it helps. In Brazil was similar. And here in India, I mean, I don't know Hindi, right? Too much. I just know very basic. But I remember a couple of months ago, when I came here at the beginning, I was teaching the verbo gustar, right? I like. So I knew one sentence that was mujhe something pasan hai. So I told my student, don't compare me gusta to I like, because you're gonna do it wrong. You're gonna say yo gusto or something like that. To compare it to Hindi, because it's the same structure, same kind of structure. So I think knowing other languages, other structure, and also knowing especially the language of your students, it helps a lot. To explain and to teach, I think.
Yeah. Honestly, that is
Well,
very
well,
amazing.
sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what I feel, the way I learned the Gustav verb. I hope you can hear me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So the way I learned the Gustar verb was a bit different approach. So what I observed is Gustar verb, when we say me gusta. So using this as a part of reflexive verb, it is more of like that thing pleases me more.
Yeah.
So
Sure. It's a
that's
good
the approach
approach.
yeah, that's the approach that I used, and most of the students do struggle in this part, I believe. So I
Yeah.
hope I was right.
Yeah, it's a good strategy also. But yeah, what I'm saying is that sometimes you don't need to go to English, because for many of my students, English is not their native language, is Hindi. So you don't even need to go to English. Just stay with your Hindi and you say, okay, mujhe pasan hai, me gusta
Okay.
something. In my head, it's like I compare these two structures and I think they are quite similar.
Yeah. Actually, that is very true and very brilliant strategy, to be truly honest. Also, I wanted to say that knowing so many language and able to store them in the correct file in your brain is a talent in its own, and you are exceptionally talented at that. I can definitely say that. So that is amazing that we are having this conversation with you right now. And talking about how languages, resemble with us and our culture and can shape our thinking also. Let's talk about audience adaptation. So, like, you have years of experience teaching privately across Spain and Belgium. So, if you were handed a lesson plan on cultural traditions and had to teach it to a room of children in the morning, followed by adult professionals in the evening, so how does your performance as an educator have to shift on the basis of your students and like the age group they are in?
Yeah, you're right. It has to shift, right? You cannot teach it the same way like children and adults. So I would say for children, I would use more obviously very visual and dynamic activities, also motor activities involving their bodies like drawing, painting, this kind of activities, because in this way they engage their body, they retain better the information, I think. They are more engaged with information. Meanwhile, with adults, it's easier, I'd say. I prefer to teach adults, honestly. With adults, obviously, you can use images because human beings are visual, right? But maybe adults are more interested in the origin of this tradition. They are interested in some polemic, maybe involving it. So with adults, it's more focused on the discussion, critical thinking, I think, and with children, it needs to be like more involved in the body and very visual. Yeah. For example, with Easter, I could with children, I could give them to draw some pasos, processions, or something. With adults, we can discuss about the origin. We can discuss about if actually Spanish people like it, if everyone likes it or not. This kind of things. So yeah, the content is the same. Let's say main content is the same, but the approach has to be different. Yeah.
That is very true, actually. The flexibility is very crucial. And yeah, if we are teaching a different audience, then it is very much necessary to see how that audience might react to a particular topic that we're teaching, and how we can, like, teach them better in a much better way so that they are more comfortable with that. And yeah, talking about that flexibility and teaching language, moving to our next segment, compared to a formal university study, how do you think that connecting more with the community and engaging with the community outside of that university is important? Like, how valuable are those unscripted grassroots community interactions for truly mastering the rhythm of a language?
Yeah, I think it's essential. I think both parts are essential. Actually, classes and this interaction outside the class are essential, and they complement each other. I think the classes are important because they give you like an structure. They give you the tools, I'd say. But it's outside where you are gonna realize how important these tools are, and also you're going to improve because at university you can get like the basic maybe, but you don't get like all the accents, you don't get all the vocabulary from different parts. So I think it's outside when you realize how to use better these tools, how to improve, how big the Spanish speaking countries are so many, right? Spanish is official language in 21 countries in the world. So I think it's outside when you realize all this, where you can practice more, improve more, without the fear of making mistakes, like in the classroom. So yeah, I think both are essential and they complement each other. Yeah, you cannot only rely on the class and you cannot only rely on the outside. It's like a mix of both, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, true. That is completely and valid point, and a very important point as well. It is very significant to have proper community interaction, because now that I personally speaking, now that I'm living here in Denmark, it is for me, if I have to merge into the culture more with the Danish people, then I really need to have that community interaction if I'm learning the language. And yeah, talking about another factor that you were just mentioning about how you deal with students of different ages in different ways. And so if we are talking about community engagement and more learning more about the culture and how it should be learned, what will be your like top advice for fostering a thriving immersive cultural environment for learners who don't have the luxury of traveling abroad but do want to learn and actually make it feel real, that they're actually immersing into the culture more?
So I would say, for example, I would engage in the activities you are doing, like this one. I think doing a very good job, to be honest, because you're doing these interviews with different people from different backgrounds, with native speakers, but also with Indian people who have a career in Spanish. So I think that's good because they see people from different backgrounds, different accents, different stories. And also you organize, I think, activities now outside, just to speak and everything. So I think that's nice, because, and not everyone can go out abroad, can travel abroad. So I think it's important to be surrounded by the language. A lot of people say you can change your phone, you can watch movies, you can listen to music. I think you can also read the news in the language, because sometimes reading a book is too much or it's too long. So you just, yeah, if you want to know about what's going on in the world, you can, instead of reading it in English or Hindi, you can read the news in Spanish. or you can talk to your friends who are also like classmates Spanish. You can follow people on Instagram. You know, imagine you're interested in football. You can follow an influencer that speaks about football on Instagram. So your Instagram will be full of Spanish. So it's like you are in Spain or somewhere else with while you are actually in India, but whatever it comes to you, like it's something that you read, something that you listen to, is in Spanish. So I think it helps a lot.
Yeah,
Well,
that is
adding on to this
actually a, yeah,
point,
yeah.
I want to just promote the activity part you were saying about. Yeah, so we are organizing Spanish Hangout on 12th of April. That will be held in Lodi Gardens. The meeting point will be at gate number 4 of Lodi Garden. The registration link is in the post of Spanish Hangouts. This is a collaboration activity they held with Español por Dentro, and the timings are 9:30 a.m. sharp. Please join us,
Thank,
and for any
yeah.
inquiries, you may text us directly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Saurav, for that unpaid promotion. I do want the money if you have, like, done promotion in my webinar. But yeah, thank you so much, Leticia. That is a very fantastic advice, to be truly honest. And for also promoting Circulo Castellano. We did not pay for that, but yeah, we are very much grateful for that. But yeah, talking about
Also, can I
more,
add? Wait, sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
please,
also,
please.
I think here in Delhi there are many things you can do because apart from your initiative, you also have I just thought you have the embassies from different countries, and you also have the Instituto Cervantes that organizes like some exhibitions, some workshops. So here
Yes.
in Delhi, I think you have a lot of opportunities. If you live here in Delhi, you have a
Yeah.
lot of opportunities also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is
This is
actually
quite
very
true.
true. I believe that I went to a few of those, and Sorwan was the one who recommended me. And yeah, this definitely helps if you want to learn more and talk to more of the people who are from that culture, and know what is the authentic side of that. So that helps a lot. That's very true point. Yeah, now I want to move into another segment where we are talking about your education and all of the awesome academic qualifications that you have done, like shifting to your bachelor's degree in translation and interpreting to, like, where you have to maintain strict objectivity, because it is very crucial when navigating legal and economic text or international media. So how do you balance that, like, staying completely true to the facts that you are translating or interpreting, while, like, you also have to, like, see the cultural essence and the nuance behind it? So what is the process and the background thing that goes behind the whole complete process?
Yeah, as you said, during my degree, I studied legal translation. Some of the subjects were about legal translation from French to Spanish, for example. I'd say, like any translation, you need to, before translating, you need to identify who's going to read the text, who's going to be the target audience, who's going to read the text. If it's someone that is knows about the topic, is like matches a legal text. If it's a lawyer or the jury or something, or someone like that, or if it's someone like general public. So you need to identify who's going to read the text, and you need to identify what kind of text it is. If it's like more, I'd say, more informative text, is going to be different if it's like a very technical legal text. If it's more informative for a general public, then maybe you can be more a little more relaxed. I mean, you can focus more on translating the idea itself. If it's more technical legal text to an specialized reader, then you need to be very specific. But always remember to translate the whole idea, not just word by word. And I'd say also that this kind of translation is not only about knowing the language, it's about knowing about the topic. So it's not like, yeah, I know very good French and Spanish, I can translate whatever. It doesn't work like that. You need to do some research beforehand, to know more about the topic. Some parallel texts in the target language, to actually know how these words are used in the language. It's not just translating. It's you need like knowledge about the topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
there.
that is actually very true. It is such a delicate balance that you have to balance a lot of things, and ensure that everything goes through right. Or even if one thing gets like missed or is amiss, then you have the whole narrative wrong. But yeah, talking about that only, I want to go more into the technical sides, and so that our viewers get some kind of information of what to look for or what to learn when going through any kind of professional aspect or career in that area. So like for our viewers in general, if their studies, like you have also studied microeconomics, macroeconomics, and business management in general. So what specific communication skills, should language learners focus on to successfully navigate the international business landscape, if they are going to the professional side and not choosing the academia?
Yeah, I think obviously this knowledge about microeconomics, macroeconomics, business is very important. This technical knowledge is important. But as a language learner, I think it's also very important to be aware of the cultural differences and communicate according to that. To know, for example, what is maybe normal in Spain is a little bit rude in Latin American countries. So it's important to be aware of these cultural differences, because if you're gonna have a meeting with your company is an Indian company working, having deals with a company from some specific country in Latin America. If you're gonna have a meeting, the first impression are important. If you're gonna do something that looks rude to them at the very, very beginning, it's not gonna be good, right? So I think as a language learner, you need to be good at the language itself, but also at the tone you're using. This more these nuances, of the language. So I think those are important also when, especially in businesses. This all cultural part that is also part of the language, because you can't learn a language without knowing about the culture, right?
Yeah, yeah, true. Like that is a very great insight for the professionals tuning in and seeing this, to understand that communication is the key, and not just knowing the language is not enough. We have to learn a lot about the background also, and what to say, when to say, because I believe that for us as humans, emotions and uh, talking in a certain way, but also keeping the emotions in consideration is very important when we are talking and dealing with a different culture, because we might harm or say something even if we didn't mean it that way, but yeah, it can create a lot of havoc in the near future. Now, yeah, talking a little bit about the delay. You are a delay certified examiner, so, and you have done all the levels. So according to your opinion, what is the biggest psychological or cultural hurdle that you see candidates who are preparing for delay face when they're trying to prove their fluency, and how can they overcome that freeze, the brain freeze that happens when something when the question does not just come, when the answers feel all mixed up and all jumbled? So how to get past that?
Yeah, I think it's important to practice a lot in advance. For example, not to be shy of making mistakes while practicing. And if something happens during the exam, for example, it's better to correct. Okay, to you said something in a wrong way, just correct it. The person, the examiner, is gonna take it as good, because you corrected your own mistake. And also don't be too focused on, I need very amazing vocabulary or a perfect grammar to pass. Because, okay, grammar and vocabulary are important, of course, but I tell this to my students, okay, also in Brazil here. If you go to any daily exam, if you go to right now to the page of Dele, you have a guidelines. Okay, it's Guía del Examen, I think the name, guidelines. You have some guidelines. And you can see that, for example, in the written part, it's not, they take into account 4 things. One of them is true, is corrección, that is basically correct grammar. Another one is alcance, that is basically the vocabulary. But as you see, grammar and vocabulary are 2 parts. It's like 50%. The other one is basically that you are replying to what they ask for. So just focus on what they are asking you. No, don't go like very, focus on what they ask. And the other one where I insist a lot is the structure. It's estructura y coherencia. And it's basically having a structured text, so a structure like introduction, the text, and the conclusion, and using linking words. Okay, that's why I say a lot about linking words. If someone from second year is watching this, I know I'm like very annoying sometimes with this, but if you get good linking words, the grammar, and you reply to what you need to reply, is if you don't have the specific vocabulary, you're gonna pass anyway, right? And also for the oral exam, there are also four items that are examined, right? So don't focus only on these 2 parts. Focus on everything. If you get stressed, just breathe a little bit and go on. Just don't be quiet, just speak as much as you can. Correct your own mistakes. They're going to take this into account as something good if you correct your own mistakes, right?
Well, I have noted these points. I'll apply them.
Yeah, that's true. I was just about to mention you that if you wanted some kind of advice or anything, because you have been preparing for Delhi and just recently gave your exam, so I believe that it might help you as well. Yeah, and everybody else in the audience knowing that, I believe this will definitely help them if they go through the advice that you just told us about. And this has been such an insightful and amazing conversation with you, Leticia, but now we have come to the end of it. And as we wrap up our main discussion with me, and as I hand over the mic to Saurav for the rapid fire round, I just want to ask one last question. Drawing on all your fears of teaching and mentoring, what is your ultimate advice for pushing past that fear and owning your voice in a foreign language?
I think just go for it, just do your best. I mean, don't be, I don't know enough Spanish. My Spanish is not good enough. Just speak, everyone makes mistakes. I probably made some mistakes today, maybe, I don't know. It's normal, it's normal to make mistakes. You learn from your mistakes and then you go on and you improve. Okay, if you don't practice, if you're shy, everyone is shy, I get it, I am too. But if you stick to, no, I'm shy, I can't talk, my Spanish is not good enough, you're not gonna, improve. Okay, you need to speak, you need to write. You're gonna have mistakes. Yeah, sure, like everyone, even native speakers have mistakes, every day. So it's not a big deal. Don't make it a big deal. For example, with me, you don't need to be shy with your teachers because we are used to hear everything. With your classmates, yeah, they are like same level as you, sort of. So you don't need to be shy. And with native speakers, I mean, you're talking to them in their language, right? So maybe without your knowledge of Spanish, you couldn't communicate with them, right? So just focus, okay, I'm communicating. Maybe it's not perfect, but I'm communicating and getting what I want. They understand me. Fine, then awesome, right? I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that is very true. Thank you so much. I would also note that advice because I'm in the process of learning the foreign language and I don't know. And so, yeah, I think that will be really helpful to just like talk and, yeah, not wait for the perfect moment because I believe this is what, at least me, this is what I do always. I believe that once I have all the vocabulary, once I have all the grammar and the words, then I will start speaking and then I will start writing, then I will start doing the actual practical things. But this is what I believe that most of us students go wrong because we have to start from the first day, even if we like mix up a lot of different languages, but that's fine because this is how we are going to learn, and this is how the communication happens. Because in the practical world, people don't care about the grammar. If you're just getting your words through them, then that's it. No grammar or no perfect sentence is needed. But yeah, so yeah, thank you so much, Leticia. This has been such an insightful conversation, and I am honestly very grateful to have the chance to talk to you and know what is going on behind that awesome mind of yours. Now it's time to hand over the mic to Saurav and, yeah, for some Spanish rapid fire round.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your question. They were very interesting
Yeah.
questions. There are things I never thought about, before.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, Saurav, can you take over, please?
Yeah, muchas gracias. Akriti, firstly, it was very interesting conversation, giving me a lot of advices and tips to foster my Spanish language skills. Moving ahead a la ronda de rapid fire. Muchas gracias, Leticia, por venir aquí. Empezamos directamente y no deberías pensar más.
Okay.
Solamente necesitamos la respuesta. Y hagamos esta ronda muy rápido. ¿Ok?
Vale, lo voy a intentar.
Bueno, la primera pregunta, pues, ¿cuál es tu modísimo o frase la más favorita de todos los tiempos en español?
Uf, esta es difícil. Es que en español tenemos muchas frases y tenemos para cada situación. Por ejemplo, si te quieres esforzar y tal, puedes decir, a quien madruga, Dios le ayuda, pero alguien te puede responder, no por mucho madrugar, amanece más temprano. Entonces creo que las dos son buenas. Las puedo utilizar como quieras.
Bueno, esa es una cosa que me inspira para levantarme todos los días. Bueno, la segunda, pues, has estudiado muchos idiomas diferentes. ¿Cuál te supuso el mayor desafío?
Yo diría que no sé si chino, mandarín o esloveno. Están ahí. Están ahí. El esloveno es más complicada la gramática porque tiene casos como el latín, el griego. Y el chino es más complicada la parte, pues como sabéis, los caracteres, la escritura, pero también la pronunciación porque es un idioma tonal. Entonces, si dices, por ejemplo, ma es madre, dices ma es caballo. Entonces, esta parte es un poco... Están ahí, ¿eh? Entre gramática del esloveno y pronunciación, escritura del chino. Están ahí.
¿Qué dices sobre hindi?
Pues hindi es muy complicado, pero yo diría que el chino es más complicado todavía. Pero es verdad que el hindi tiene muchos sonidos que no tenemos en español, aspirados, como este ba, da, ra, y cosas así. Sí. Y además, en la estructura de las palabras, de las frases es un poco complicada en hindi. Por ejemplo, tú dices, te pones los verbos al final, no dices sin ti, dices ti sin, ¿sabes? Dices terevina. Sí. Entonces, la estructura de las frases para mí un poquito confusa, pero aún así yo creo que es un poco, dentro de la dificultad, un poquito más fácil que el chino. Sí.
Ay, qué bueno. Puede adaptarse con eso. Bueno, España, Bélgica, Irlanda, Francia, Brasil o India. ¿Quién prepara la mejor taza de café?
Yo es que no soy muy fan del café, pero soy más de té desde que llegué a la India. Así que yo me quedo con el té indio, con el chai.
Qué bien, pues.
Yo creo que con el chai indio, maravilloso.
हम सबको चाय पसंद है. Nos gusta el té muchísimo. Bueno.
Sí, sí.
Bueno, ¿Cuál es el libro, película o canción que siempre recomiendas a los estudiantes de español?
Pues, por ejemplo, yo creo que aquí es importante coger un libro que esté adaptado a tu nivel, para que no te
Ujú.
frustres, o una película. Claro, pues como profesora de español yo voy a recomendar siempre El Quijote, ¿no? Que es
Sí.
el libro pues, más importante
Ujú.
del español por excelencia. No sé si lo sabéis, pero es el libro más traducido del mundo después de la Biblia.
Sí.
Y pues si tienes un nivel básico, por ejemplo, puedes buscar una adaptación, porque hay adaptaciones por
Ujú.
niveles. Si ya tienes un nivel muy alto, pues puedes irte con el original, porque es un libro, aunque parezca muy antiguo, que tiene 4 siglos, es un libro
Sí.
muy divertido y también tiene temas sociales. Entonces yo lo veo como muy
Ujú.
completo. A mí me gusta
Sí.
el Quijote, sí.
También me encanta ese libro. Y también las historias. Es que
Mm,
me gustan las historias que enfoquen en la crítica social. Y eso es
mm.
la única cosa que está enfocado. Pues seguimos con la otra. Am, ¿Qué nivel del examen DELE es en realidad el más engañoso o difícil de aprobar?
Hombre, yo diría que el C2 es el más difícil porque pide mucho vocabulario, muchas estructuras, colocaciones. Yo creo que hasta el B1 son relativamente fáciles. A partir del B2 se empieza a complicar un poco porque ya las destrezas no están tan aisladas, sino que se empiezan a mezclar. A lo mejor tienes que escuchar un audio y escribir sobre
Ujú.
ese audio. Entonces, hasta el B1 es fácil. A partir del B2, pues ya se empieza a dificultar un poquito.
Ok, ok, sí, sí, también pienso, porque intentaré para B2, pero lo veremos de C2. Bueno, mate, matcha o chai, pues,
Chai.
chai siempre,
Sin dudas,
pues,
sin dudas. Antes de venir a la India, a mí y el té ni me gustaba porque suele ser como infusiones, ¿no? Agua y con hierbas, infusión.
ujú.
Vine aquí, me dieron el chai y ya toda la mañana yo tomo chai. Toda la mañana tomo mi chai.
Bueno,
Sí.
eres más india que muchos indios.
Sí, sí. Alguna gente me dice que parezco de Cachemira.
Sí, sí, es posible, porque, bueno, si alguien solo tiene una semana para un viaje de inmersión lingüística, ¿qué ciudad debería visitar?
Bueno, aquí voy a barrer para mi tierra y voy a decir para
Gran-
Granada. Claro.
gran-
Sí, yo creo que Granada es una ciudad con con todo. Tiene monumentos, si quieres ir a la playa está muy cerca, tiene
Ujú.
todo y además no está tan masificado como otras ciudades típicas como Madrid y Barcelona y a lo mejor fuera del centro turístico la gente no va a hablar tanto inglés y vas a tener que esforzarte en hablar español.
Ok,
Entonces yo
ok.
diría que Granada es perfecto, visualmente, para hablar, para todo, es perfecta.
Y
Sí.
también la historia es única cosa que me encantaría visitar a Granada para a
Sí,
flamenco de Andalucía, ¿no? Flamenco
sí.
y también la historia, la significancia histórica de Granada es muy rica. Bueno,
Sí, tenemos de todo, la verdad. Tenemos desde monumentos como la Alhambra, tenemos iglesias ya barrocas, tenemos, si quieres flamenco, tienes el flamenco así puro en el Sacromonte. Tenemos todo. Tenemos la montaña, si queréis hacer esquiar, tenemos la montaña muy cerca, a 40 minutos la playa también. Que lo
ujú,
tenemos todo. Sí.
sí, no tengo una ciudad en India para comparar, pero um, es casi como Nueva Delhi, que tiene la historia, la ciudad, las culturas y todas las cosas en un lugar.
Mm.
Sí, no tenemos las montañas ni playas, pero sí, casi.
Mm.
Bueno, si el idioma español fuera un género musical, ¿cuál sería?
Claro, aquí depende, porque es que el español se habla en tantos lugares. Si fuese de España, aunque en España tenemos muchos géneros también, pues yo diría
Ujú.
flamenco, ya que estamos, ¿no? que sea andaluz. Claro, si me preguntas, pues Argentina, pienso más en tango, República Dominicana en bachata. Entonces, pero bueno,
Ujú.
si fuese de España diría flamenco. Si vamos a barrer para lo nuestro.
El gitano, ¿no?
Sí.
Bueno, tienes un C2 en portugués y un C1 en francés. Si esos dos idiomas se enfrentaran en un combate de boxeo, ¿cuál ganaría y por qué?
El portugués,
¿El portugués?
sí.
Sí.
Es que el portugués a mí me encanta. Es como el idioma con el que yo siento más conexión.
Ujú,
Y además, con el portugués me ha pasado algo que no me ha pasado tanto con los otros idiomas. Yo, por ejemplo, a
ujú.
mí me han dicho, ay, hablas francés muy bien, pero casi nadie me ha dicho de qué parte de Francia eres o de qué país francófono eres. Sin embargo, en
Ok.
Brasil sí que me decían muchas veces, tú no eres de este estado, ¿de qué estado eres? No me decían de qué país, me decían de qué estado brasileño eres. Entonces, yo creo que con el portugués tengo más conexión y pues soy más natural, tiene las expresiones que combinan más
Ujú.
conmigo, yo creo. Entonces yo diría que el portugués ganaría, sí. Aunque también me
Ok.
gusta mucho el francés, ¿eh? Pero el portugués ganaría.
¿Eres de Cachemira?
Pero aquí es antes de hablar, de abrir la boca. Aquí si hablo ya no funciona.
Ujú. Ok, bueno. Estás atrapada en un país extranjero y solo puedes usar tres palabras para sobrevivir la semana. ¿Cuáles son?
Ay, yo creo que tres solamente. Yo
Sí,
creo
solo.
que comida, ¿vale? Para alimentarse, ya pues con comida incluimos el agua.
Ujú,
Comida, enchufe para cargar el móvil o wifi también.
ujú. Ok.
Y gracias para ser educado, que la gente pues, te vea simpático.
Sí, sí.
Sí, sí.
De acuerdo de ti. Pues intentaré mm, sobrevivir en un país extranjero como China.
Sí, chai, enchufe, no sé, y xexe, y ya está. Sí,
Bueno,
bien.
de todos los idiomas que ha estudiado, ¿cuál tiene el ritmo más hermoso, ignorando por completo el significado de las palabras?
Yo sé que aquí mucha gente diría el francés, pero yo voy a decir el portugués brasileño.
Mm,
Para mí el portugués brasileño es el más melódico de todos, el que mejor me suena. Sí.
para mí
El
es,
ritmito que tienen, sí, es el mejor para mí, el portugués.
para mí es español.
Gracias, gracias.
Bueno, ¿cuál es esa palabra de la jerga andaluza que desearías que el resto del mundo empezara a usar?
La palabra, la expresión. Es que hay tantas expresiones en Andalucía, incluso de provincia a provincia. Pero yo diría que una que uso bastante, que usamos bastante todo,
Ujú.
creo que, no sé si en otros sitios de España se dice, yo creo que es muy andaluza, no sé, es dar coraje.
Dar
¿Sabes?
coraje.
Muchas veces dar coraje, sí. Es como, muchas veces decimos, no me enfado, pero me da coraje, es como me molesta. Es como un pequeño
Ah,
enfado. No estoy enfadada, enfadada, pero decimos, no estoy enfadada, pero me da coraje, me molesta. Es creo que lo usamos mucho, me da coraje. Sí, me da
dar coraje.
coraje.
Ok. Bueno, ah, si no fueras educadora ni traductora, ¿qué carrera completamente diferente habrías elegido?
Un tiempo, claro, cuando yo estudié esta parte de microeconomía, macroeconomía en Francia, de business, de negocios, me interesó bastante esta parte de economía. Entonces, por un tiempo pensé, ¿y si hago un máster, digamos como un MBA, ¿no? Un máster así de relación con empresas. Sí,
Ujú.
lo pensé un tiempo. Hasta que luego me fui a Brasil y ya, pues bueno, ya me olvidé aquella idea. Pero lo
Y,
pensé,
y,
estuvo en mi mente un tiempo porque sí que me interesaba este tema de la microeconomía, macroeconomía, negocios, me parecía muy interesante también.
bueno, ¿cuál es el error de traducción más divertido que le has escuchado cometer a un estudiante?
Ay, Mm, Ay, no sé, ahora mismo no caigo aquí en India. De un error de traducción, no caigo en un error de traducción, pero sí que una vez conjugando los verbos en presente indicativo, sabes que hay
Ujú.
muchos verbos irregulares, ¿no?
Sí.
Entonces, caer, por ejemplo, es
Ujú,
irregular.
ujú.
Entonces, la primera persona es me caigo, aigo. Entonces, un alumno, pues, se acordaba de que era un irregular con go, solo que lo dijo sin la i, ¿no? Entonces, me hizo gracia porque dijo, me cago. Entonces, a mí me hizo gracia. Y yo dije, no, 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 eso es diferente. Entonces, sí, eso me hizo gracia, me hizo gracia. Pero fue
Bueno, muchas
gracioso.
gracias. Muchísimas gracias por las respuestas y, para esta conversación. Y por último, tengo una pregunta aparte de eso, sobre todo en estos meses que has quedado en Nueva Delhi y has visitado unos lugares de India. Pues, ¿cómo fue tu experiencia? ¿Puedes dinos la experiencia aparte de la comida en una frase?
Es una frase intensa, yo diría que es intensa, una palabra es suficiente. Intensa. Hace una experiencia intensa. Sí, sí, intensa. Creo que con una palabra no hace falta nada más intensa. La palabra que describe a la India, intensa.
Ok. Muchísimas gracias por esta ronda de Rapid Fire. Ahora, I will just get back to Akriti. Are you here? Yeah, you are
Yeah,
here.
muchas gracias, Saurabh. That was very brilliant and very fun, to be truly honest. And muchas gracias, Leticia, once again for taking your time to share your expertise, your stories, and your energy with us today. It has been an absolute privilege to talk to you and to learn about your ideas and to have such a fun and engaging and informative conversation with you. And to our viewers, muchas gracias for tuning in to this episode. We hope you leave feeling beyond inspired for and to push beyond the textbook and connect with the language in your own unique way. Don't forget to follow our community for more events and discussions as such. Nos vemos pronto y buenas noches. Ciao.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.